In a bold move that has sent shockwaves through the world of motorsport, Swiss racing driver Laura Villars has filed a lawsuit against the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, FIA, challenging the very foundation of its presidential election process. But here's where it gets controversial. Villars claims the FIA's rules effectively block any candidate from running against the incumbent, Mohammed Ben Sulayem. This isn't just a legal battle, it's a fight for democracy and transparency in global motorsport governance. Villars had announced her intention to stand in the December 2025 presidential election, but a peculiar rule in the FIA's election process has seemingly made it impossible for any challenger to enter the race. The legal summons, filed in a Paris court, demands the suspension of the election until the dispute is resolved. A court hearing is scheduled for November 10, setting the stage for a high-stakes showdown. In her statement to BBC Sport, Villars emphasized, "This action is not an attack on the FIA but a defense of its core values. Democracy isn't a threat to the FIA, it's its greatest strength." She grounds her case in Article 1.3 of the FIA's own statutes, which pledges the organization to uphold the highest standards of governance, transparency, and democracy. As a French law association headquartered in Paris, the FIA falls under French jurisdiction, adding another layer of complexity to the case. And this is the part most people miss. The FIA's election rules require presidential candidates to submit a list of vice presidents for sport, drawn from each of the FIA's 6 global regions. However, this year's list for the World Motorsport Council includes only one candidate from South America, Fabiana Ecclestone, wife of former F1 boss Bernie Ecclestone, and a member of Ben Sulayem's team. This effectively bars any other candidate from naming a vice president from South America, making it impossible for anyone else to run. Villars' barrister, Robin Binsard, highlighted the urgency of the situation, stating, "The court's decision to grant an emergency summons shows they recognize the serious democratic failings and statutory violations within the FIA. If Villars prevails, the election could be halted pending an investigation into the FIA's governance processes. If the investigation extends beyond the election date, Ben Sulayem would remain in power but under a caretaker mandate, limiting his ability to make significant decisions." The FIA, for its part, has remained tight-lipped, with a spokesperson stating, "Due to the nature of the process, the FIA is unable to comment on this legal action." Meanwhile, Villars has expressed her willingness to engage in mediation, stating, "I approach this with calm, openness, and determination, hoping for a sincere dialogue that leads to a more modern, fair, and member-connected FIA." This isn't the first time the FIA's election process has been challenged. In 2013, David Ward secured an injunction against Jean Todt, and in 2009, Ari Vatanen entered mediation after challenging Todt. Both ultimately lost their bids for the presidency, but their actions underscored ongoing concerns about the FIA's democratic processes. Here's the controversial question: is the FIA's election process truly democratic, or does it favor the incumbent at the expense of fair competition? Fellow candidate Tim Meyer recently abandoned his campaign, accusing the FIA of lacking transparency and creating the illusion of democracy. The FIA counters that its process is structured and democratic, but Villars' lawsuit forces us to ask, who is right? And what does this mean for the future of motorsport governance? As the world watches, this legal battle isn't just about an election, it's about the soul of the FIA. Will it emerge as a more transparent, democratic organization, or will the status quo prevail? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. This is a conversation that needs your voice.